Good luck in Parliament. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to be here today. Thank you, Wes, and it's great to be here today also with you, Kia. And today, of course, is the eve of the 77th birthday of our National Health Service. A service, as Wes said, that was created by a Labour government. It was protected by a Labour government in 1997, and we will now be the government that saved our National Health Service. Our 10-year plan will get our NHS back on its feet and make it fit for the future, led by our fantastic NHS staff, and a huge thank you to every single one of you. And funded by the £29 billion that I announced in the spending review last month. I want to be clear, we are spending money on taxpayers' priorities. But that wouldn't have been possible without the measures that we took in the budget last year. We fixed the foundations and we've put our economy back on a strong footing. Our commitment to the fiscal rules has meant that we can boost investment in our public services. The work that we've already done means that we have recruited 1,700 new GPs. We've cut waiting lists and we've delivered 4 million extra appointments in under a year. That's twice as many as we promised, and that wouldn't have been possible without all of you. Making this country fairer for those who have paid in all their lives, by guaranteeing that the NHS will be there when they need it. That's vital for the millions of people who rely on our NHS. But it's also vital for our nation's finances. Because if people have timely treatment, they'll be able to return to work. If NHS staff don't have to spend all their time on endless admin and bureaucracy, then they're free to focus on the care that they are so good at delivering. And if we can prevent illness taking root in the first place, we can save on costly treatment, as well as the huge pain and heartbreak later down the line. So this is the right way forward. Good for the health of our nation and good for the health of our nation's finances. This government will always deliver on the priorities of ordinary working people. And I am proud that with this plan, the NHS will always be there for those who need it, for the next 77 years and many more beyond that too. Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's now my pleasure to welcome the person who's made this possible by winning that Labour victory last year. And without that, we wouldn't be able to fix the foundations of our economy. We wouldn't be able to deliver the free school meals in our primary schools. We wouldn't be able to build the 1.5 million homes. We wouldn't be able to do anything that me and all of our colleagues came in to do. So, Prime Minister, over to you.
So that was Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor. She did not even refer Carol Malone to what happened yesterday when she apparently had such a bad personal problem she was breaking down in tears.
I can't believe that.
We've got to go back to the Prime Minister. We'll come back to you. Prime Minister.
Where's Denise gone? Denise, come and sit down with us. Because Denise's story is fantastic. As she said, she works here, she lives in this borough, and she uses the services here. And what a great testament that is. And Denise, thank you for your introduction. Thank you for your words. And it is a real privilege to be here with you in Stratford. And I've seen the work you're doing this morning. I'm sorry to be interrupting your work. I do understand how hard it is. My mum worked in the NHS. She was a nurse and a very proud nurse with it. My sister worked in the NHS, and my wife still works in the NHS in one of the big London hospitals. So I do understand what you do, how you do it, and what you put in, and why you do it as well. And so let me start by saying a big thank you to all of you for what you do. And if I may, through you, to say thank you to all the NHS staff right across the country who do what they do as public servants because they care about treating and caring for other people. Thank you also for welcoming us here to your neighbourhood health centre. because it's buildings like this here that represent the future of the NHS. And I've just had the chance to go round and see some of the work that's going on here, the 24 teams that you've got working on dentistry. Really pleased to see that you don't necessarily need an appointment. You can walk in. We've got children and families up there on the next floor having their teeth done. Hugely important. And that's what a neighbourhood health service can do, working in partnership with the people that it serves. And Denise, you're the embodiment of that. Power and control in their hands, care closer to their community, services organised around their lives. But look, I'll say a bit more about the future in a minute. But it is important that we go back a year to the NHS as it was left by the last government, with record waiting lists, the lowest ever satisfaction, and I know the toll that that takes on staff who work so hard. 100,000 children waiting more than 6 hours in A&E. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say everything is perfect now. We have a lot more work to do, and we will do it. But let's be under no illusions. Because of the fair choices that we made, the tough Labour decisions we made, the future already looks better for our NHS. And that is the story of this government in a nutshell. It's breakfast clubs, hugely important for children coming in to school so they're ready to learn. Potholes across the country filled. Fuel duty frozen. 4 interest rate cuts, hugely important for mortgage holders. Setting up Great British Energy. Levelling up workers' rights. Record investment in affordable housing. Infrastructure the length and breadth of our country. It's all down to the foundation we laid this year. All down to the path of renewal that we chose, the decisions made by the Chancellor, by Rachel Reeves, which mean we can invest record amounts in the NHS. And this is about fairness. Millions of people across Britain no longer feel that they get a fair deal. And it's starting to affect the pride, the hope, the optimism that they have in this great country. And our job is to change that. And the NHS is a huge part of it. I mean, for 77 years this weekend, the NHS has been the embodiment, if you like, of British pride, of hope, that basic sense of fairness and decency. 77 years of everyone paying in, working hard, doing the right thing, secure in the knowledge that if they or their family needs it, the NHS will be there for them. In 10 years' time, when this plan has run its course, I want people to say that this was the moment, this was the government that secured those values for the future. And look, when people are uncertain about the deal they're getting from this country, what fairer way is there to respond than that? By giving them more control, by partnering with them to build an NHS that is fit to face the future. And that is what this plan that we are launching today will do. It will do so in 3 ways, 3 shifts, if you like, that will transform healthcare in this country. First, we will shift the NHS away from being only a sickness service to a health service that is genuinely preventative, prevents diseases in the first place. That means a stronger focus on vaccination, on screening, early diagnosis, things like innovative weight loss services, which can be available in pharmacies, working with major food businesses to make their products healthier, better mental health support, particularly for our young people. And starting with children aged 16 this year, we will raise the first entirely smoke-free generation. Second, we will shift the NHS away from being a hospital-dominated service to being a community neighbourhood health service. You can see why we chose to come here. Places like this are the future of our NHS. As I say, you don't have to book an appointment. You can walk in. There are families here. People live in this area. It is local to them. Now, of course, we will always need hospitals. They will always be important for acute services in particular. But as I say, disease has changed, and we must change with it. And not only can we do that, we can do it in a way that improves care and convenience for millions of people. So just imagine it, nurses, doctors, pharmacists, dentists, carers, health visitors, all under one roof. But also alongside them, services like debt advice, employment support, smoking cessation, preventative services, which we know are so crucial for a healthy life. Now that is an exciting prospect. You know, the idea that the future of healthcare is no longer defined by top-down citadels of the central state, but is instead in your home, in your community, in your hands. That is an inspiring vision of change. It will bring the state and the people it serves into a partnership on something that we all care deeply about. But more importantly, it means a future where we have better GP access, no more 8 a.m. scrambles, more dental care for your children, better care on your doorstep, and a neighbourhood health centre like this in our coastal towns, in our rural counties, in every community across the country, every community across the country. Finally, the third shift, from the analogue NHS that we have at the moment to a truly digital health service, a health service capable of seizing the enormous opportunities that are there in science and technology, in genomics, in artificial intelligence, advanced robotics. And look, all of you will have seen in your everyday lives what this can do, and I've seen some of it as well. I've spoken to stroke patients whose lives have literally been saved by technology and AI because it could find the blood clot in their brain in milliseconds, giving them just enough time to be operated on and saving their lives. So this plan, this 10-year plan, backs technology to deliver because it can and will save thousands of lives. But it's not just about saving lives. AI and technology is an opportunity to make services more human. That always sounds counterintuitive that AI and technology make us more human. But it does, because what it gives all of you and all of your colleagues is more time to care, more time to do the things that only human beings can do, which is that care that is needed, the professional skills that you have. So this will make it a more human service as well. And it's not just cutting-edge stuff. Technology like phones in the pockets of everyone in this room. We can make use of that as well. Now, it's not often I invite people to look at their phones when I'm making a speech, but if you get your phone out and look, you've got lots of apps on your phone. Seriously, because what you're going to see on your screen if you have a look at it is that entire industries have reorganised around apps. Retail knows the power of it, transport, finance, weather, you name it, shopping. Why can't we do that with health? Why can't we have that app on your phone? Why not the NHS app on your phone? Making use of the same dynamic force to cut waiting lists at your hospital, to make it easier to book an appointment with your GP, to give you more control over our health. There is no good reason why we can't. And so I'm announcing today, as part of this plan, that we can and we will transform the NHS app so that it becomes an indispensable part of life for everyone. It will become, as technology develops, like having a doctor in your pocket, providing you with 24 hours advice, 7 days a week. An NHS that really is always there when you need it. Booking appointments at your convenience, ordering your prescriptions, guiding you perhaps to local charities or businesses that can improve your well-being. And perhaps most importantly, holding all healthcare data in an easily accessible single patient record. Now don't underestimate just how important that is. I've been up to Alderhay Hospital in Liverpool many times. It's a children's hospital, it's a brilliant hospital. And one of the times I was there, I went onto the ward where particularly young children were having heart surgery. I have to tell you, it was really humbling, both seeing what the children were going through and what the professional staff were doing. And when I went into a particular ward, I saw a 2-year-old boy who had just had major heart surgery. It's an incredible thing to see. And I spoke to his parents, who were, as you would expect, at his bedside, where they'd been throughout. And one of the things they raised with me is the distress that they felt, that they had to go through every condition he'd had and what happened to him, how it impacted him over and over and over again, when they went to Blackpool, when they went to Liverpool, when they got to Alderhay. And they were actually welling up, telling me, it's a really difficult story for us, this is really hard, and we don't want to keep on having to repeat it. Why couldn't it have been recorded in some accessible form the first time round? And I will remember their faces and that story they told me for a very, very long time. And we can fix that. We can make it more accessible. We can bring this together in one place. And there are other examples as well. That red book that every parent gets when they have a child, why can't that be digital? There's no good reason. And so that is exactly what we will do. We will turn this app into a new front door for the entire NHS, a reformed, modernised and renewed neighbourhood health service. So that is the plan that we will launch today. That is the change we will deliver, the difference a Labour government makes. The NHS on its feet, facing the future, delivering fairness and security for working people. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's a bit hot in here, isn't it?
I'm sweating, absolutely sweating. And somebody, I'm sorry, I'm making you look like a sweaty mess.
Keep the media questions short. Thank you all very much. I'm going to take a number of questions from the media now. We're going to keep them relatively short and free because the staff are getting very hot. So in their interests, we'll take questions. And I'm going to start with the BBC and Hugh Pym.
Thank you, Prime Minister. When will you be able to assure patients that they will be able to see a GP more easily, they'll get the mental health support they need, and they won't have to wait long hours in A&E? And another briefly, would the Chancellor like to comment on her experience in the Commons over the last 24 hours?
On the question of when you'll see the change, it's a 10-year plan, but we're already starting on the change. And Hugh, if you haven't had the opportunity, I would recommend walking around here, because a lot of what I've been describing in terms of neighbourhood centres, you will see here. Not all of it, of course, but you will see the teams doing the dentistry, people walking in. And that is both incredible to have that in your community, but it ties in with my experience in Alderhay. I think you may have been there when I was there, when one of the shocking statistics, and it really did shock me, was to learn that between the ages of 8 to 12, more children come to Alderhay to have their teeth taken out because of decay than anything else. And so some of that is being dealt with the preventative measures here. So some of it is starting already. The technology is moving on. Some of it will take a bit longer because the neighbourhood centres have to be put together and the services all brought to one place. It is a 10-year plan, but we're beginning on it already. And what I have my intention and determination is that as we look back proudly at the Labour government that created the NHS, and we do and celebrate it, and that's a good thing, I want in 10, 20, 30 years people to look back and say this was the government that seized the moment and reformed the NHS so that it's fit for the future and is still celebrated year after year after year. In relation to the Chancellor, I'm not going to stand here and speak for the Chancellor, but as she's made clear on a number of occasions, yesterday was a personal issue, and I'm certainly not going to say anything more about that. I think it's just fantastic that she is here, and as I say, none of this would be happening if she hadn't taken the decisions that she's taken. So she took those decisions, and she'll be taking them for many years to come. Thank you, Hugh. Beth at Sky.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Beth Rigby, Sky News. PM, your first-year anniversary has been marked by a self-inflicted shambles over welfare that's left you and your Chancellor wounded. You've U-turned on your reforms, your MPs don't trust you, and markets worry that you've lost resolve on fiscal discipline. It's the epitome, isn't it, of sticking plaster politics and chaos that you promised voters you would end. You say it's your responsibility, so can you explain to our viewers how you got this so wrong and what you intend to do to rebuild your trust and authority in your party? And if I may, I know it's long, sorry. Chancellor, first, it's really good to see you today. It's really good to see you here. But, Prime Minister, I have to ask you, on a human level, people were shocked and baffled that in the Commons yesterday you did not offer your Chancellor your support. Was it because you didn't see what was happening, or did you not know what to do? Thank you.
Well, Beth, let me just clear that up straight away. I didn't appreciate what was happening because, as you'll probably appreciate, the PMQs is pretty wired. It goes from question to question, and I'm literally up, down, question, looking at who's asking me a question, thinking about my response and getting up and answering it. And so it wasn't just yesterday. No Prime Minister ever has had side conversations during PMQs. It does happen in other debates when there's a bit more time, but in PMQs, it is bang, bang, bang. That's what it was yesterday, and therefore I was probably the last to appreciate anything else going on in the chamber. That's just a straightforward human explanation. Common sense explanation, if you like. In relation to your invitation to tell your viewers what we've achieved in the first year of a Labour government, I'm very pleased to say we've brought down waiting lists. We promised 2 million extra appointments. We've delivered 4 million extra appointments. We've begun the project to build 1.5 million houses, particularly social and affordable houses. In schools, we have introduced breakfast clubs, really important for children so they're ready to learn when they get to school. We've rolled out free school meals to 500,000 more children, hugely important to them. We're just doing more on childcare. That comes on stream in September. So that is 9 months to 4 years free childcare across the country. We're ramping up and introducing the biggest upgrade in employment rights for a generation. We've got record investment into the country. Just last week, Amazon put in 40 billion investment into this country in jobs. That's one of the biggest single investments that has ever been made, and that brings the total for the year to £120 billion. These are companies, global companies and finances, who don't have to put that into the United Kingdom. They're choosing to put it into the United Kingdom because they've got confidence in what we're doing, confidence in the fiscal rules that the Chancellor has crafted so well. We've delivered a defence uplift to 2.5% and made it clear it will be felt in every community, in jobs. We've created hubs so that local businesses, small businesses benefit from that. We've delivered 3 trade deals, which governments tried for a long time. The US trade deal was talked about for I don't know how many Prime Ministers. Who came along and delivered it? This Prime Minister with this Labour government. The India deal, I think, was talked about for 8 years. Who came along and delivered it? This Labour government. And of course the EU-UK reset. And only a few weeks ago many people were saying to me, you can't have a US deal and an EU deal, Keir. You've got to choose one or the other. And we've got both. And it's measured, Beth, by the thing that matters most to me, which is improving the lives of working people. And that trade deal with America was hugely important to JLR and the car manufacturing sector. And equally, the SPS agreement with the EU will bring down prices in supermarkets across the country. I could go on, Beth, but it's a long list of achievements of this Labour government, and I'm really, really proud of them.
Welfare reforms because you were going to lose a vote in the House of Commons. Are you just in denial? You've totally ignored my question.
No, I'm not, and we didn't get the process there right, but I think it's right that if we're looking at the entire year, that we look at all the things we've delivered, and I always do this through the eyes of the working people up and down the country that we came into government to serve, that really mattered to me. I actually gathered them in the back garden of Downing Street the other day. These are all the people I'd met along the way in the campaign trail, people working in the public sector, people doing campaigns, people who put in every day. I got them back, partly to show what we delivered on the commitments we made to them, partly to make sure that we always have them in our mind's eye. And they are very, very pleased that we've delivered waiting lists down, that there's housing they're going to be able to afford, that their schools are looking better, their hospitals are looking better, record investment, and all those people whose jobs are going to be either secure under JLR or created under the other investments coming in. That is what matters to me, and it's really important that I stand up and be absolutely clear. I'm very clear. I'm very proud of the decisions we've made. They were tough decisions, they were the right decisions, but only because we took them that we got this platform that we can now build on. Thank you very much, Beth. I've got Rebecca from ITV. Rebecca.
Thank you, yeah. Rebecca Barry, health correspondent, ITV News. Prime Minister, given the current workforce crisis in the NHS, how will you ensure there are enough staff to provide these neighbourhood services? And on the Chancellor being here today, many members of the public will be concerned about her. How is she today, and is she here simply to calm the markets?
No, she's here because she's the Chancellor. The plan that we are delivering today is only deliverable because she took the decisions that needed to be taken and allocated the money for this plan. And so that is why she's here today, and I'm very glad that she is. In relation to the workforce, we have got obviously a workforce plan, and we're working with the workforce on it. The big difference between a year ago and now is that a year ago the government was blaming the workforce for their failures. So when the past Prime Minister was asked, why aren't you hitting waiting list targets, he said, it's not my fault, it's their fault. We came along and we said, we'll work with you. And we'll get you off the picket line onto the front line. We put together a plan for the year, which we launched in the beginning of this year. That was signed by the Secretary of State and signed by the NHS. And this plan we're launching today was not something the government dreamt up and sort of imposed top down on the staff. It was, Wes Streeting went through this, it was consulted on widely, both with staff who participated and communities that they serve. And so they recognise in this plan what their patients, their communities have always said to them. And that's why I'm really pleased that we're working together on this plan. And that's why I know that it is achievable, deliverable, and it is heartening, and I said this to the staff, to see some of it already happening right here in Stratford. Thank you very much. I've got Gary from Channel 4.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The Chancellor's said in the past that when it comes to the budget, you won't be, during this government, coming back for anything like the tax hikes in the last budget. Can you actually, hand on heart, repeat that now? Because after this week, a lot of experts, a lot of people in the city think you probably can't and maybe shouldn't.
Well, Gary, first of all, let me say what every Prime Minister or Chancellor says any time they're asked about a future budget, because it's always the same. This isn't a Labour answer or a Conservative answer, but no Prime Minister or Chancellor is going to write a budget in advance. But we did really tough stuff in that budget of last year. We made sure that we stabilised the economy, and we took the big and heavy decisions early on. And that's what we meant by what we said when the Chancellor said that before. It's what I mean and say again today. We've done a lot of the heavy lifting. We've done a lot of the hard yards. As a result of that, we're turning our economy around. The fastest growth in the G7 in the first quarter of this year, business confidence at a 9-year high, and record investment. In the end, that's what drives growth, and that's what we were saying a year ago at the other side of the election, and I say it again here today. Thank you, Gary.
Doing yesterday, because it looked rather serious for a while.
Well, Gary,
a lot of people were worried. What they were saying was they weren't sure a Labour government, maybe without Rachel Reeves in it, would balance the books.
Well, Gary, again, I think, as you know, it's unwise, and politicians don't comment on markets, and I'm not going to do so. Thank you. Andy from Channel 5.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Andy Bell, 5 News. Can I also say, good to see the Chancellor here after yesterday, and would invite her again if she would like to say a few words about what happened yesterday and her reflections on that. I'll leave you to think about that for a moment. But Prime Minister, what people did see yesterday, whatever the cause in the Commons, was a Prime Minister, a Chancellor clearly under enormous pressure. Do you worry that this is becoming too much pressure for your Chancellor? No, I have every faith in my Chancellor. She has made incredibly important decisions in the last 12 months, and we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today without those important decisions. We work in lockstep and will continue to do so for a very long time. And that is a good thing for the government. It's a good thing for the country. Thank you.
Chris at GBN. GB.
So thank you, Prime Minister. Your benefits climb down this week was humiliating, but for many it's depressing because only a Labour government can properly reform the benefits system. Outside of the Timms review, is benefits reform off the table? And how will you meet the £6 billion black hole this autumn, tax rises or borrowing? And just finally, a duty of care to your team. Will you have a word with Lindsay Hoyle about what you said to the Chancellor in future, or anybody else?
I won't comment on the second issue, Chris, as you'd expect. But look, no, we are pressing on with reform. It is important that we reform the system. Welfare isn't working. The two examples that stick with me most are the million young people who are neither earning or learning. That is not good. That is not progressive. No government should be satisfied with that, and I'm not. And we got 3 million people out of work through ill health. Again, I'm not satisfied with that. And I know, from having seen it for myself, how hard it is for some people to get back into work. I've seen and talked to people who have been through ill health and want to get back into the workforce. There's slight trepidation of doing so, fearing even trying, and that's why what we're putting in place, the right to try, for example, it may seem like a small thing. It is a huge thing for people who want to get back into work. The bill that we delivered on Monday obviously rebalances universal credit. That's been long overdue, and ensures that those with the severest disabilities don't go through unnecessary reassessments. That's been called for a very, very long time, and it's the right thing to do. And of course, Stephen Timms will now conduct this review. And I don't think you'll find anyone in Parliament who doesn't think that Stephen Timms is a thoroughly decent man of huge integrity, that we can have faith in to do the review and make the changes that are necessary. Thank you very much, Chris.